come to Gloucestershire to meet food artist Prudence State. In her beautiful farmhouse, she creates unbelievable sculptures made from chocolate.
Oh my goodness, wow, what a room. These are all made out of chocolate, these sculptures here?
Yep, everything's solid chocolate.
Is it a bonus or is it disheartening when you see people like eating your creation? You know, you spent hours and hours making this amazing sculpture and then somebody's like, just bites into it.
Well, for me, that's like the final journey of my creations. I'd be really sad if it was just sort of left there. For me, it's when they get the sledgehammer or the knife and they hack it apart, you know, that is like the final journey. And when they then next eat chocolate, you know, when they unwrap it, they'll always remember, oh, I ate a chocolate shoe, or I ripped apart part of a chocolate motorcycle, or I ate someone's head made out of chocolate. It makes that whole experience of chocolate stay alive with them.
Prudence carves from solid blocks of shop-bought chocolate. Often her creations are eaten, but she has quite a collection at home. One of Prudence's more challenging commissions is a replica of a 1927 AJS motorcycle made for a museum.
Oh, wow, look at this. This is... I mean, you could literally get on it, couldn't you?
Yeah, it's pretty
size.
stable. You could actually sit on that if you wanted.
And the attention to detail. I mean, even you've got the nuts and bolts and...
I had no idea really what a motorcycle looked like. So I had to study them and actually figure out, you know, the shape had to be 100% correct. You know, the exhaust needed to be the right length. And so it was a bit of a challenge. And a lot of people didn't realise it was made out of chocolate. They thought it was just another bike in the museum. They were like, And I was giving them chocolate spanners. So these are a sort of replica spanner made out of chocolate, but I've put some cocoa powder on them to sort of age them. They were silver.
The sculptures are incredible, a passion she has pursued from an early age.
I always wanted to be a food artist, and I actually made my first sculpture when I was 6 years old, and I made a penguin out of a pear. And I always thought I was going to be mad. My parents were just like, what's this child's destiny? So I didn't know whether to become a chef or an artist because I really wanted to be both, and it just didn't exist. Being a food artist was just like, the closest thing was doing wedding cakes, and that wasn't really where I wanted to go. So I did a fine art degree and very nearly failed it because I started using chocolate and sugar and not traditional media. Because for me, art's something you touch and you taste and you experience it yourself. So for me, using food is something that you could go into a gallery, physically pick up the art and bite it. And they were like, no, you can't do that. So I thought, you know, I'm going to do that. So I got some chocolate, melted it, and it was almost like clay. And I was thinking, why use clay when if I can use chocolate in the same way and then you can eat it, doesn't that make much more sense?
I definitely get that sense you really have a lot of fun with your work.
It's about spreading joy and enjoying chocolate in a fun and sort of magical, happy way.
And nothing could be more magical than Prudence's latest commission for a shop display.
Oh, wow. Look at the detail on that dragon. Beautiful. And it smells so chocolatey.
Yeah, and the whole thing is solid chocolate. So I've basically carved it a bit like stone and a bit like clay, sort of building it up and then using sculpting tools to sort of shape it.
How long did it take you to do this dragon?
Started it about 4 or 5 days ago. I literally just had to throw myself into it, and I could see where it was going in my head. It did look like a duck to start with. It just had these two jaws, and I was thinking, oh my God, this is never going to go anywhere. But yeah, when I put this sort of mane on, it just sort of then became a dragon.
And I love the movement in the mane because it really feels like the dragon is on the move, and you kind of get that wind feel.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely got a character to it.
For a finishing touch, Prudence has asked me to help her paint edible gold highlights on the mane.
A little bit of sparkle, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody loves a bit of sparkle. Well, I do.
I think that's him. Haven't done a little spin.
Yeah, look at that mane, and the teeth really finishes it. Oh! And it roars too. Oh my goodness. Glad I'm not meeting you in the dark.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
If I made something like this, I'd never want it destroyed. But for Prudence, it's the best bit.
I like to put in little bits of magic into my chocolate sculptures as well, so it's a little bit of the unexpected. So it has that definite sort of interactive art experience. Yes, the taste is really important, but it's the actual journey of making art. I want to create things that people go and smash. You know, it's sort of playing with people's minds. I like that.
Inspired by Prudence's amazing sculptures, I have an idea for a dessert that will really make your guests' eyes open wide.
I'm going to make some edible chocolate bowls, and they're going to look like coconuts with a delightful tropical fruit salad.
To start with, I need to slowly melt white chocolate over low heat. To make the coconut bowls, I'm using something rather unusual.
A balloon! Excuse me. Good size. You might think this is a bit of a faff, but it's so worth it.
Balloons done, it's time to check on the chocolate.
So what you're looking for is the white chocolate to be melted and all the lumps to be gone. You can see it's really smooth and glossy. This is the bit I'm always afraid of, because sometimes the balloons explode. It's a bit like Russian roulette, chocolate balloon roulette. So yeah, we're going to dip it in, and then you just rotate like this. So you kind of want to cover half the balloon, like that. Okay, now you put your balloon in the glass, so that's going to set. Okay, and in like that.
Build up a few layers of white chocolate.
There you go.
Pop in the fridge, then temper some dark chocolate to make the shell of the coconut.
I'm going to use a pastry brush, and this pastry brush is going to create the kind of texture you have on a coconut. Yes. Now you want to work quite quickly. Dip the brush in, and then you just...
Because the white chocolate is cold, the dark chocolate sets quickly.
And look how it's setting, it's super shiny. Right, brush it on. Can get a little bit messy. That's the problem with chocolate. Okay, last one. Super satisfying doing this. I don't think I've made coconuts, I think I've made the Fab Four.
Pop your chocolate beetles in the fridge and make the delicious tropical filling.
I love combining chocolate and fruit together, and tropical fruits go so well with dark chocolate. And a little white chocolate too. Start with the pineapple.
Pineapple and dark chocolate is such an amazing combination. No wonder Anish used it in his ganache.
It's quite easy to tell when a mango is ripe because it smells really aromatic. And you just squeeze it over immediately. That smell, so fresh. It's just going to complement the chocolate perfectly. Right, let's have a little look. How my Fab Four, they're looking good. Now, you just want to let out the air slowly. It's coming. Ooh. Yes. Perfect inside. And we have our coconut. You can have these rough edges, I quite like them, but if you want to neaten them up, there's a really simple trick to do. So you just need to have a non-stick pan. So once it's warm, what you can do is just, see, it melts the edges, and then you get a nice neat edge.
A dusting of cocoa powder is a great finishing touch before filling with the tropical fruit salad. Smashing.
It's like a real coconut. I think I'll have a little taste.
with the fruit salad. Ah, so delicious. Those fresh fruits with that dark chocolate and that white chocolate. Immediately transported to a tropical island.